Conversations with Ishiekwene.
Welcome to Deepening the Conversation, our interactive segment of Conversations with Azu, a weekly diary on life and politics published on the back page of Leadership newspaper. Today, our topic is Azu's musing on political parties in turmoil. With me on set is Azu, the author, and Azuka. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
He's Azu the author. I'm Azu the presenter. So maybe that dynamics can work for us.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good to have
I'm sure I
you.
didn't
Thanks for having me.
Yes. We missed you last week.
From the video, that I'm sure you folks out there have seen that video. I think that these folks can do a whole lot without me. So,
Okay.
nice to be back.
Thank you for the confidence.
We won't shift your head in the house as much as is possible. We will always want you to link up. Yeah, your musings on political parties in turmoil. There are several parties in fact, invariably every political party in Nigeria right now has one form of problem or the other, but you single out the major three for your analysis. Why so?
As you may recall, 18 parties, I think, were enrolled for the 2023 general elections. But I think for the first time in a long while, three of them actually competed, had a very tight race. It was a three
winning 12 states each.
Yeah, so that means that this obviously it's not out of disrespect for the other parties, but these three parties, the APC, the PDP, and the Labour Party, are obviously the trendsetters. And I'd like to think that whatever they do tends to be a reflection, also may have an impact on the way the other parties also go. So yes, that's the reason. They are the trendsetters, and yes, that's the reason why I focused on them.
Okay, I think this is one of my favorite pieces that you have written ever. I particularly like this one because of the choice of words, the writing style. The first thing that hits me when I saw the title, I was like, hey, wahala today. But then you never disappoint. But on this one, you delivered 100%. So the part that I liked the most is when you talked about the PDP.
Right.
And everything that's going on in the PDP. And then you talked about Atiku coming in with his full chest. I emphasize that part.
as we see
with his full chest. I like that part. But in that situation, what do you think he should have done? He shouldn't have showed up at all, or he should have just not said anything. And it was a bit dramatic for a lot of us in Nigeria, seeing the now minister of the FCT regain all his glory, and then he had his own fans who were oohs and ahs and shaking and having the conversation. Do you think Atiku shouldn't have showed up at all?
Okay,
it should have happened.
Yes, I think he should not have showed up, and I said so expressly.
Really,
I think so. I think a major problem that we're having, why you have a lot of gerontocrats on the political scene, and I say that with a lot of respect, is if we had a system like they have in Senegal, where you can stand as an independent candidate, which was exactly why Faye emerged. I mean, Faye would not have emerged if it was in Nigeria. I'm not saying that all is perfect with that system, but the political party remains front and center of Nigeria's political, experience. Which I think shouldn't be the case. People like Atiku, and I say that, I mean, of course, I do pay a lot of respect to him for all he's done since 1998, actually, and even before then, he was quite active. I think it's just about time. And given all that the party has gone through under him, I think it's just about time. What he should be doing now is not offering himself to run as a president or trying to select who's the next. He should just be more on the backstage and then trying to see how he can rescue whatever is left of the party. He should not have been there, and I said so expressly, yes.
And do you think he's probably losing grip to the Wiki faction?
He's obviously losing grip. The fact that Damagun's tenure was extended, I think he must have received that with a heavy heart. it's evident that he's actually losing influence. And there is a time in life to know when to stop. And I think that I'm rather surprised that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar perhaps is still chasing what a Marabout said many years ago, that he will become the president. Maybe there are other motivations outside that, but I really don't know why he's not seeing clearly the writing on the wall that it is time for him to stop.
Okay. So I read this piece over and over again. From the Abure conversation to the Ganduje conversation to the Atiku conversation.
Right.
I don't even want to go into that Ganduje one. We will probably have the conversation for the rest of the day. But if there's anything that's evident, is that Wahala Day.
Yeah, plenty.
Wahala Day.
Plenty. And it's not just Wahala in one of the parties.
It's everywhere.
And it's virtually all the parties. But as my father-in-law used to say, it looks like the bigger the head, the bigger the headache.
Yes.
So perhaps because these are the three
major ones.
Yeah, major parties, they really are having a torrid time.
So what do you think that they can do? Because before we know it, it's time for the elections again.
Yes, that is if the race or the contest for 2027 has not already
started. Yeah.
The political parties remain the major platform for recruitment into political leadership in the country. And I am sure that we would like to see some great examples from the parties in terms of their adherence to their own constitutions, to their rules. That's more, yes, that's more of what I'd like to see. And I'm sure most folks out there might agree with me. The parties need to learn more how to comply with their own rules. That's been thoroughly lacking. I think if we have more adherence or compliance by the parties to their own rules, probably have less problems. But they're just not complying with their rules, and so you have pre-election, election, and post-election disputes, all the time. It's not conceivable that you have people together in any form of association without disputes. But these guys have absolutely no respect for their own rules. And that's at the heart of the problem. And it begins with the leaders of the party. That's it.
And do you think going into 2027, and looking at the dynamics of where the APC national chairman comes from, the political dynamics of Kano, and the other juggernauts that are standing in the background, could President Tinubu trade Kwankwaso for Ganduje?
I don't know what is going to trade or what's not going to, but I think that sooner than later the tire will make the road. You have to make a call. As I also said in the column, it's difficult to have Ganduje and Kwankwaso in a room without having a referee in protective gear actually being present. You can't have them. They've threatened to slap each other some time ago, and God, they definitely will come to blows. But Kano is the vote bank of the Northwest. And there is also a stirring going on in Kaduna, which is also a major political center with the Nasir El-Rufai case. So I suspect that President Tinubu and leaders of the APC will not only be looking at somebody who can help them deliver as much of that critical vote bank which can represents, but also someone who will help them look after the larger Northwest as a significant block in terms of the vote that it gets. And I think, the way these things are done, the higher your vulnerability, the more likely you'll be a candidate for the job. But they know where the corpses are. The corpses are buried, and they'll find them.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the Humpty Dumpty.
Yes, sat on the wall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men.
Yeah, you were very explicit in that part where you talked about how many people were like pro Atiku and others who were pro Wike. And you did talk about how the reconciliation committee has been talked about set up, and Bukola Saraki, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, will be heading that committee.
Yes, that's what I know.
Okay, so sucks to be him, because I don't think anybody wants to
touch that.
To touch
the
that.
10-foot pole. Well, I wish Kola Saraki, former Senate President, luck. He needs plenty of luck and perhaps plenty of serendipity, because I don't know how he's going to do it.
It's quite intense.
I don't know how he's going to do it. To bring that. I mean, we've had a lot of this in the past.
Yeah.
What the parties are trying to do, because as I said, the race to 2027 has already started. They're trying to see how they can put their houses in order. But the more they try, unfortunately, the harder it gets.
Yeah.
And I don't think from what we see, it does not look like it's going to be different this time than it was in the past. These are folks that are absolutely irreconcilable. I don't know how it's going to be.
Some people say it's a love-hate relationship, but it feels like it's a hate-hate relationship. So.
And lastly, from me, what I would describe as a personal disappointment with the Labour Party. The Labour Party made tremendous progress in the 2023 general election.
You'd expect that.
And instead of building on the momentum, they are fighting each other.
Well, I don't know why that is the case. And again, we will see more of that play out in the elections coming up, especially in Edo State. Where some of the people involved actually have claimed. You will see much of that. If they are not able to put their house in order before the Edo elections later in the year, then I'm afraid, as my father would have said, the party is done for.
Even Ondo, which was formerly ruled by Labour Party, now has a candidate under Zenith Labour Party.
Yeah, if they are not able to put their house in order before the Edo elections, the party is done for.
Okay, well, we're gonna wrap this up. Musings on parties in turmoil. The conversation is endless, from the People's Democratic Party, that's not so democratic, to the APC, where the people are not congressing, and to the Labour Party, where it feels like you're laboring in vain. Peace on there. So this week, amazing. Next week, we go harder. I'm trying not to think about what Mr. Azu is going to write.
Please.
Because you never disappoint.
Spare me.
And you're never very predictable. So you can always catch the column on the back page of the Leadership newspaper every Friday. You can also visit the website, is www.ishiekwene.com. Same for socials: Instagram, Twitter, now X. And of course, he drops it on LinkedIn as well. As Ishiekwene. Thank you so much.
And on Threads as well.
Yes, thank you for that one.
Yes.
Thank you, Azudi.
Thanks for having me, Azudi presenter, and also thanks for having me, Julius, the
co-presenter. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, people.
Bye-bye.
Conversations with Azu Ishiekwene.